One of my favorite episodes of The Simpsons is the one where Bart gets a fake ID and him, Milhouse, Martin, and Nelson go on a road trip. When I was a kid, and honestly still now, nothing sounded more fun to me than four friends going on a road trip. That was the dream. Even though this road trip notoriously goes pretty badly for them, they did get to see a bunch of wigs, and that's always fun. If you've never seen this episode before, or just hearing stuff you said back to you, it involves Bart getting a fake ID. Specifically, they mention that Bart claims he's 25, which I think is very clever because then the plot doesn't happen. And first thing they do is normal kids shenanigans, go to an R-rated movie. They happen to pick Naked Lunch, despite the title is not that sort of movie. Didn't get to see the type of movie they were hoping, but they did get to see a top-tier David Cronenberg movie adapting William S. Burroughs. Come on, you watch that scene with the bug typewriter and your mind isn't going to pick this episode. Is currently there is another William S. Burroughs adaptation out in cinemas. Should probably get around to watching that at some point. It was honestly a pretty mind-blowing movie for me to see, and meant I now got this joke after years of watching this episode. But the boys decide they're going to go to the greatest thing of all time, the World's Fair in Knoxville. And while that's happening, Homer and Lisa honestly have a pretty cute little subplot. What starts all of this is Skinner announces a bring your kid to work day. Bart gets stuck with the ants, and that's how he gets his fake license, where Lisa goes to Homer's work, and the two get along pretty well, to the point that they're actually behaving like father and daughter. I always prefer when they write Lisa like an actual kid and less like a tiny adult. This is a pretty good example of one of these episodes. This does lead to one of the darker Marge plots, with Bart away and Lisa spending time at the nuclear plant. Marge is lonely and bored. She wakes up Maggie so she can comfort her back to sleep, whereas the kids end up in Knoxville with their car destroyed and no money and barely making any ends meet as Bart takes a job as a courier, which was also a very exciting idea as a young person. You can just get paid to travel the world delivering stuff. I've looked into those jobs before. I don't know if they exist anymore. The story ends happy. Bart is brought home, and the kids being too scared to actually tell their parents what's going on. Bart eventually tells Lisa what happens, and Lisa breaks down and finally tells Homer what's going on. He takes it well. The episode ends with all the kids back home and everybody, Lisa and Homer, furious, but Marge happy. I think about this episode a lot. When I was a kid, I was so absolutely sure I was going to do this. I guess I never did do the big road trip. I tried a few times, but anyways, this is one of the first episodes I really noticed how they were slowly transitioning Nelson from antagonist to buddy of Bart. And this is one of the first times I noticed Martin got a central focus in an episode since like season 1, I believe. This is one of those little great Simpsons episodes where everything is firing in all cylinders and there's not a scene wasted.